Well, I think this is a celebration, so let's hear it. 100 days. 100 days. 100 days after we got Georgia in line and in the blue. 100 days after we sent Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff to the U.S. Senate. 100 days after Georgia came through for America again. That is worthy of celebration. But we're also here to talk about what we are recovering from, why we have to get back on track, because this nation has suffered from 4 years of hypocrisy and amnesia, 4 years of lying about who we are and forgetting what we're about. 4 years of misinformation, misdirection, and miscommunication. But America is back on track because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. 100 days of greatness. You see, my friends in Congress have talked about what's been accomplished. They spoke about the importance of getting shots in the arms of millions, hundreds of millions of Americans. They've talked about the fact that we have delivered economic recovery, so long promised but finally delivered. We've lifted children out of poverty, we've lifted people out of sickness, and we've lifted depression into hope. That is what we've done in 100 days, led by Joe Biden. We remember, you see, we didn't have the hypocrisy of saying that we wanted to believe in family values but not care about families. That's why Joe Biden did the American Rescue Plan, and that's why he's fighting for the American Families Plan. Because you see, he understands that you can't say you love families if you don't care about their children. You can't say you stand for families if they can't go home and take care of one another when they're sick. You can't say you believe in families if you don't believe in getting them vaccinated and getting them health care and getting them all the way through education. But he didn't stop with the American Rescue Plan or the American Families Plan, because he understands that our economy is back. And that's why he has the American Jobs Plan. You see, we have a country where some hypocrisy has been running rampant, where we said we want to create jobs, we just don't want to help anyone create those jobs. We want to create jobs, but we want to pay anybody for doing that work. We want to create jobs, but we don't want it to cost anything, do anything, or be anybody's responsibility. Well, Joe Biden said no to that. He said that he's going to put his presidency where his promises were, and that is that he's going to stand up for infrastructure, for rebuilding this nation. But we're going to go further. We're going to build for the future. That is why we're celebrating the first 100 days. Because we've got a president who doesn't suffer from hypocrisy, but he also doesn't suffer from amnesia. You see, when he said that he was going to stand with our families, he did it. When he said he was going to fight for voting rights, he's doing it. He didn't stand silently by when people were harmed. He put a Justice Department together that is taking people to court and taking justice back into our hands. We've got a president who understands that talking about being green isn't just it's not just words that we use, it's a belief that we have to hold. Because you see, climate action is happening whether we want it to or not. I mean, look, guys, it's not even May in Georgia and it's already hot. But the heat that's here in Georgia, the heat that's rising across this country, is a heat that's on fire for change and for real action, for rejoining the Paris Accords, for putting money into clean energy, but for investing in those communities that have been left out for so long. That's what Joe Biden is all about. We've got 100 days behind us, but we've got a long way to go. And you see, the way we get there is the work that we've been doing, the work we've been anchoring here in Georgia in the fight for voting rights. You see, last night Joe Biden called out for action, for bipartisan action, because in the amnesia category is the fact that for so many years, voting rights was a bipartisan endeavor. Through 2006, it was Democrats and Republicans who fought to renew the Voting Rights Act. It's suddenly, though, after 2013, Republicans have forgotten that they were part of the architecture of getting good done. Well, we're inviting them back to the table. But we know that voting rights has to be done because that's where all of our other rights are grounded. And we need the For the People Act because the people need relief. Bills like SB 202 here in Georgia and the terrible versions of it around the country are looking to steal our voices and take our choices, and we will not stand for that in this democracy. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris understand that voting rights is not about partisanship, despite what some people would have you believe with their clever slogans and their fun taglines. When you tell somebody that too many people showed up, so you're going to shut down the opportunities, that too many people mailed in their voices, and so you're going to slow down their opportunities. You see, voting rights is not about partisanship, it's about citizenship. And we are Americans standing together. Because when you hear Joe Biden speak, when you've heard him talk about voting rights, you've never heard him say he wants voting rights for Democrats or voting rights for Republicans. When he talks about the American Rescue Plan, he didn't say he was going to rescue blue states, not red states. He said he was going to rescue the United States of America. When he said he wanted an American Families Plan, these weren't Democratic families or Republican families. These were American families. And when he said he's building American jobs in the American Jobs Plan, these aren't Democratic jobs or Republican jobs. These are American jobs. And these are anchored by American voting rights. And that's why we need the For the People Act to pass. That's why we need the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act to pass. Because in a democracy, in our nation, our pledge to one another is not that we always agree, but that we always have the right to speak. Our promise is not that we win every election. God knows that's not the promise. But the promise is we get to be heard in that election. That is how we get the rights we need. That's how we get the policies we need. That's how we get the future we deserve. And there is one man fighting every day to make that so. And that is why I am so excited to be right here today as we get back on track and focus on the next 100 days with Joe Biden as our president, with Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff as our senators, with our extraordinary congressional delegation, and with the people of Georgia leading the way, because we're back on track and the future belongs to all of us. Thank you all so much. Take care.